Alright everybody, so welcome back. Last week, you all discussed your next move and potential options in Valakai with the famed vampire hunter Van Richten. I was able to tell you a bit, and also that he intends to enter into Castle Ravenloft himself to try and figure out what may have happened to Esmeralda. After parting ways with him, he took Petra into the custody of the Mardikovs, who he revealed to you all to be a sect of were-ravens that live in Barovia as well as many other places throughout the Dark Realms of Ravenloft, and gave you a little bit more info about them, informing you that they were an organization that stood directly in opposition to Strahd and any of the other dark forces that plague the Dark Domains. After this conversation with Van Richten, and after he took Petra over to the Blue Water Inn, you all went about retrieving the wedding dress at Blinsky's Toys. You then returned said dress to the mayoral mansion, narrowly avoiding a major confrontation with Izek Stronzi, the captain of the town's guard, but some handy enchantment magic came into use once again. Luckily, when you arrived at the burgomaster's home, he was not there. You learned that he was out, in fact, searching for all of you, likely to claim vengeance for the magic that you cast upon him. You learned that their son was a bit of a wizard, and he was the one who discovered the enchantment that was on the burgomaster and lifted it off of him. Thinking it more of a joke, thinking it funny that his father had been swindled so easily. But nonetheless, he had removed that enchantment, revealing your intentions to the burgomaster. But again, he was not there. You had the pleasure of speaking to his lovely wife instead, and you were able to convince her to take the dress and let the burgomaster know that hopefully there would be no hard feelings. But unfortunately, a quick show of the state of one of the party members caused her to faint, and you all decided to kind of just make sure she was okay and leave her there to be found, hopefully, by one of the servants or one of the other women in the house. But after all of this, you began to make your way towards Lake Zarovich, and of course there was the creation of the sentient Slinky in there as well. So, that is where we pick up today. You're all making your way out of town. You just heard the shouting of a very upset individual, presumably Izek Stronzi, after realizing that he had been hoodwinked as well.
Get hoodwinked, nerd!
Alright.
Also want to mention the fact that we told off 3 cats as we were leaving the house too, for some strange reason.
Yeah, the 3 cats that were in the uppermost window of the burgomaster's mansion, presumably the eldest son's room. Yeah, they watched you interestedly, I should say, and seemed a bit more intelligent than even the smartest of kitties.
Means if we see one that's not in the house, it dies.
What? I don't know what you're talking about, Varanus.
You gonna risk it at this point?
I mean, like, what's the worst that cat can do?
Like, that cat looked at me funny. Murder.
Yeah. It's just like an average New York cat that's just gonna be like, I'm better than you, bro. Like, deal with it.
Alright, everybody. So, leaving town, the shouts of Izek Stronzi fading away behind you all. You begin making your way towards Lake Zarovich. That's loud. Alright, so, as you all approach the lake, it does almost seem to get darker. It is late morning at this point, closing in on the afternoon hour, although it'd be hard to tell based on the sunlight, as there is no sunlight. only a gray, overcast, perpetual gray hanging overhead. So, as you all make your way towards the lake, you remember hearing the tales of the children that went missing throughout this area over the course of the past few days. Many of them last seen or heard from that were supposed to be playing down here by this lake, but not returning home. One of these missing children happens to be the youngest child of the Mardikovs, a young girl by the name of Arabelle. They've asked you to try and see if you can find her. They've, of course, said that they'll be doing the same, searching the lake beds, searching the lake shores and the outlying forests for any sign of the young girl. But you all begin to make your way towards the lake. And this lake, at the foot of a large mountain, you can see its peaks rising up into the clouds to the north. It's nestled in this misty forest, this large lake. The water is perfectly still and dark, reflecting the thick cloud covers, these black, deep gray clouds overhead, almost like some sort of monstrous mirror. Pulled up along the south shore are 3 small rowboats. The 4th boat can be seen out in the middle of the lake, with a lone figure sitting in it, fishing pole in hand. There's a dock off to the right of where you see this opening, this clearing. Doesn't seem to have any boats attached to it. But the lone figure sitting out in the middle of the lake kind of just sits there. You can see as you approach the shore, his head is kind of just bowed down and he's got his fishing pole out. What do y'all do?
Let's approach cautiously, yes.
Do I see a shadow circling his boat?
You can make a perception check. Okay. So, you don't see any, like, fish or anything like that circling around underneath his boat. Looks like there might be maybe some seaweed or something floating up to the surface. Looks like something might be resting on the surface around where his boat's at. That's about it.
The guards mentioned an ominous figure that appears in the lake.
I don't think fisherman is ominous.
I mean, he's just probably doing his thing. Like, we don't need to disturb him.
Perhaps he's seen something, though. Although then again, if he has, why would he be out there?
I mean, yeah. I say we just leave him alone, honestly.
Or we can, get his attention somehow.
I think we may as well try and find out if he knows anything.
Sort of looking up and down here, is it all just kind of wooded coast, or is there like a discernible beach?
There's a bit of a beach. Here, a dock coming out from the other side of it. The forest does come up pretty close to the tree line, but you've got a good few feet of distance between the trees, maybe 20 feet of shoreline, just muddy, rocky shore.
Do the boats look like used or anything, or like relatively well used, or are they like as if like they've been exposed to the elements for way too long and just sitting there?
So there's no obvious signs of rot or anything like that, Sam. The guy that's out there is out in one of these boats. You can see the mooring for the 4th boat here.
Well, I don't know about yelling at him. Maybe we should do a quick search, see if we can find any evidence of children, and then take one of the boats out ourselves.
I can turn into a thing, and I can go and kind of do a little bit of recon. but I need some assistance because I don't want to go alone.
What do you mean, like a fish or like a?
Like an octopus.
I don't even know if that's a. What is an octopus?
Someone living
My best
landlocked.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and explain this. It's like, okay, imagine. So you have, you have 2 arms, right? Imagine having 8 of them, and you can squirt ink. That's what it is.
You see, what you're describing to me is a very weird animal that's probably consistent with a quill and some sort of ink holder. But how is that an animal with like 8 arms? I don't understand the biology of that.
I mean, look, more hands to hold on to things to eat,
Like a giant spider that swims and is covered in slime.
Okay, that just sounds gross. I mean, do your thing, but I'm not gonna watch you with your octopus or whatever you call it work.
Sam, are you sure you want to get in this water?
Perhaps a flying creature is more appropriate. I could send
Can't do
Tita
that.
there with you.
I cannot fly at this moment. Actually, no, I can't do that either.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's level 6, right?
Yeah, it's pretty far in.
Although, I'll just kind of put my head under, like, I'll go to the end of the beach and put my head under the water. Is there any visibility?
I would say low, especially this close to the shore. You can probably see maybe about 10 feet ahead of you.
Plans should start with avoid the water and proceed from there.
I could send Tita there to explore ahead, but I think someone more intelligent. Elephant Man Sam.
Sorry, something happened. Weapon?
I can send Tita there to explore ahead, but I think you may have better luck finding details.
Yeah. Yeah. But I gotta go by the sea. Or by the water. Whatever this is.
I say just dip a toe and see if it does anything, and
Well, Franz just dunked his head in.
Yeah. I wasn't here. Was he fine after that?
No, he's dead.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I lost my head. Ron stood up and his head was gone.
Gotcha.
No, he was fine. His head came out
No
wet,
creatures.
and it definitely gives you a better idea of the chill that is rolling down off the mountain.
no creatures are coming out of the water where Varanus put his head. That's a good sign.
Can we tell how deep it is from here? Like from how deep, like the part where he's in, like the guy. Or we can't tell how deep any part is, right?
Let's get a nature check. It's going to be a really high DC since no one really asked about the specifics of this lake. We'll just have to go off of what you know about like formations of this sort.
Sure.
Guidance.
Unfortunately, Sam, it is going to be impossible to tell even with the 17 off of guidance.
Okay. I can always just wade in there and kind of hold my trunk up. That does give you an
Probably
extra.
deeper than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's take a moment. We have some time. Let's see if we can find any evidence, any indication of what happened to these children, and proceed if we get that information.
The man sitting in the rowboat continues to just stare blankly down, his fishing rod in hand.
So can I do a poke around, like not
Absolutely.
all the way up and down the coast, but
Yeah,
do
just
a
like
sort of
The immediate area, yeah.
Anything that doesn't look natural?
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check. Survival would also be appropriate.
Oh, that's not good.
So, yeah, between the animals that likely roam around on here, it's impossible to tell what might have happened. Yeah, not really much of a clue over if anything may have happened here or within the immediate area.
Well, if we're not going to get in the water, then we may as well call the guy over and see if he's seen anything. Clearly there's no clues out here.
I mean, yeah, we may as well. I don't want to be running into a wolf. You know, so.
A howl
You know-
splits the silence in the distance.
How about this? I'll just recon. I'll go in alone because I have I have advantage on dexterity. What stealth checks? Well, with the octopus. So, does Titira have a decent enough stealth?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I could cast invisibility on you if you want.
He's already got advantage on stealth checks from being an octopus.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. Then yeah, the bats have good agility.
Okay. So, sure. I'm just gonna start wading into the water.
So you start wading into the water as Elephant Man Sam?
As Elephant Man Sam, yep.
Okay. So once you start wading in, Sam, the splashes and the little disturbances along the shore, you all see the man sitting in the boat, his head kind of perk up just a little bit. He slowly turns his gaze towards you. You see a large, bloated-looking man, almost frog-like in appearance, sitting in the boat. If desperation was a person, this man would likely fit the bill. He turns his head slowly towards you, and he kind of stops and sees you wading into the water, Sam. He looks almost absently towards the other three of you gathered on the shoreline, and then he looks down at his feet again. You see him reach down for something.
I'm gonna start stepping out of the water.
He stands while still reaching down into his boat. You can see it kind of rocking back and forth. And then he picks up a large burlap sack, about 4 feet long.
What?
Throws it over his shoulder. You all can see something in the sack is moving.
Anto?
He then lobs it over the side of the boat into the water.
Okay.
Can I make some sort of check at whether it's like perception or insight to figure out what the hell is in that bag?
You all saw a 4-foot-long burlap sack bag with something inside it moving.
How far up from where we are is he?
You are about... He's maybe about 15, 20 feet out into the water.
Okay. I'm just gonna go for it because my character is always wanting to save children, and I'm assuming that's a kid in there in the sack. So
I'm in the same boat here.
I will use a second level spell. Oh, I get a free casting of it. I'll Misty Step.
Oh, fantastic.
Right above the water, because it has to be a point I can see.
Okay.
Where he dropped the sack, and I'll just sink.
Okay, fantastic. So Bolivar, you see the man toss the burlap sack over it. Bolivar, with a gasp, immediately vanishes and appears directly over the boat. The man kind of gives you an absent look, Bolivar, as you appear right in front of him and then drop into the water. Bolivar, you're able to quickly get your hands onto that burlap. He didn't weight it down or anything like that. He kind of just tossed it in, so it was sinking very slowly. You most certainly feel what sounds like a young person, struggling inside of that sack.
Okay. Oh dear.
I'm gonna wild shape into an octopus and just chase after him.
Okay.
I'll start launching one of the boats. Really, I get in.
I'm
just gonna get in.
start swimming back to the safety of my comrades.
All right, so Aurelia and Veronis, with the two of you combined, there will be no check necessary to get the boat out to Bolivar. Bolivar, as you struggle with the burlap sack, obviously difficult for someone of your stature to keep it above the water, but you are working hard at it. As you surface Bolivar, there's what looks like black strands of maybe like seaweed or some sort of strange moss draped over you.
I need some help here.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm
buddy.
gonna swim as hard as I can towards our boat.
We're
I'll meet him
coming.
halfway there, so I have
It's a real quick physics check. Is this boat too heavy for Carlotta?
For Carlotta? How much does Carlotta weigh?
Never established it.
Yeah. So it's a chunk. It's a machine. You know, we would call it no heavier than the average person. So yeah, your boat can hold up to 4 people.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's bulky.
Okay. So you're all able to get out there to Veronis. The man is still just standing there. He sits back down. He has a very blank expression on his face, almost lost. But you are able to get the little girl safely. Are you putting her onto the boat? How exactly are you getting her? Bolivar has her. You've all reached Bolivar with the boat. About halfway between the water and between the shore and the boat is where you would intersect. So about 15 feet into the water.
Oh, jeez.
I will sink under and try to push it upwards so they can get a good grab of the bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Order Carlotta to try to pick it up.
Okay, fantastic. Whatever's inside is not very heavy. So Sam, you're underwater as an octopus right now.
Yeah.
So you can see a few interesting things. First off, you see Bolivar struggling beneath the burlap sack, lifting it up. And a moment later, you see the sack pulled up and out of the water onto the boat. And you see what looks like almost like inky tendrils rising up from deeper into the lake. Visibility is low. You can't see too far. But they seem to be almost kind of moving across Bolivar. And then they suddenly retreat. And almost in the blink of an eye, all of these dozens of little strands of inky blackness are pulled back towards the center of the lake.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna swim past Bolivar and I wanna like stealth my way towards the actual boat itself and the guy.
Make a stealth check. And that's advantage with your octopus? Okay, fantastic.
Yep.
So 16.
And just let me know when I get there. I'm gonna try and actually grapple this guy.
Okay. So, Sam, you get up underneath the boat. Or you're just a regular sized octopus, right?
Small beast.
So you get up underneath the boat. You can see the wooden structure above you. And as you pull your octopus self up and over the top to look inside, there's nobody there. Anybody near the shoreline as you're all kind of getting this little girl as you get her into the boat, you can hear her coughing and sputtering inside of the bag. It is obviously a little girl inside of the bag. You're almost back to the shoreline when Sam realizes that the boat in the lake is empty.
I'm gonna, while Carlotta's rowing back, I'm gonna slice open the bag with my cane dagger.
Okay. There is a little girl in dark robes, very similar to what the Mardikovs would wear. She's wearing a bit of a large bonnet over the top of her head, and she coughs and sits up And she looks around, says, "Whew, this looks like you guys got here just in time."
I mean,
Who was that man?
It's
How did he disappear?
That's Bluto. I've known him for years. He seemed so different over the last few days, almost like he wasn't even really there. It was really strange. So while you all are having this conversation with Arabelle, her name is Arabelle. She would introduce herself to you all. Sam, what are you doing up at the boat?
I still have all my I technically still have my trunk. So
You're an octopus with a trunk?
Isn't that how this works?
I mean, yeah, you technically keep your racial feature. No, do you keep your racial features?
Well, only the ones that aren't relying on that don't rely on anatomy.
Okay, so the trunk would be gone.
Okay, never mind then. I guess just gonna look around my surroundings, just see if I spot this guy, and from above, I'll dip my head below, see if I can spot anything below that's remotely look like the figure.
Okay. As you look around, you do not see anybody in the water around you. The surface is perfectly still. You do, however, notice that those little black tendrils that were resting across the surface when you approached are gone.
Okay. Anything on the boat, or just an empty boat?
There's some fishing tackle, a rod, an empty line that looks like it might have been meant for fish that you caught during the day.
I'm gonna take that, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Arabelle, does Bluto live in town, in Valakai?
She nods, says that he's been living there for as long as she can remember.
Do I see Octopus Sam rifling around the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
see me kind of just like crawling all over it.
As we're kind of banging
And you
up,
all,
I'd like to
you all would have noticed that the boat is now empty as well.
call out to him. Sam, can you bring the boat in?
So safe to say you've gotten the little girl onto the shore.
I have -3 strength, so I'm gonna have this. Do I see an oar here?
Yeah, there's an oar.
Oars, right?
There's horse.
Okay, yeah, I'll drop. I'll drop all shape, and I'll just start moving the boat back to shore.
Okay.
But I do take that empty, spool. What's it called?
I forget what they're called. Like, you know those lines that you run. I don't know how many of you fish like lake fishing and stuff, but like one of those lines that you run into the mouth and through the gills, and you just toss them into the water, and you can line up all your fish on it. I forget what they're called.
I'll grab that empty one because I'm gonna fill it up with some.
It's basically a long, sturdy rope with a hook on the end.
Oh yeah.
So, as you're all speaking to Arabelle and making your way, or kind of getting her untied and unbound, you see her eyes go wide as she looks out into the water. And the word and the name escapes her mouth. She says, "But Bluto?" Sam, looking towards the shoreline, towards everybody else, you see what looks like a man kind of begin to rise up out of the water. It seems unnatural, almost like he's being lifted up and out of the water by something.
I mean,
As
Get back, man.
you all see his eyes, and they are bulging wide. You can see what looks like this like black, almost like vines maybe, or seaweed wrapping their way around him. You can see them moving. They've wrapped over his mouth. His eyes are bulging.
Would I recognize this as being a corpse?
Yeah, you can make a medicine check.
yeah, I was gonna ask the same question. So I'll
I'm gonna
take
try and
4.
ram. I'm gonna try and ram him with the boat.
So, Veronis, with your 12, that man is alive. The woman that you can see walking on the water behind him in perfect silence. She makes no sounds, and now that you get a better look, you can see that the man is making no sounds either, supernaturally quiet. You can see by his chest rising and falling in a panicked rhythm that he should be making some sound, but he is not. The woman behind him is soaking wet as she walks across the surface of the water, making no sound. Her hair is long, black and slick, falling all in front of her face, much like the ring would be a good imagery for this. It falls all the way the length of her body and then into the water, across the surface of the water, stretching out. Sam, as you're seeing this from the other side as the rest of the group, as you're approaching from the opposite end, you can see that the stuff that was lying across the surface of the water, those black inky tendrils that you were all seeing in the water, were not seaweed or anything else, but in fact this woman's hair. And as she lifts Bluto up out of the water, several feet off the surface, she looks towards the little girl just past all of you. And you see Bluto's body snap and break like twigs as her hair tightens and constricts around him.
You know,
She's not focusing on me at all, right?
She doesn't seem to notice you, Sam.
Okay, I am hiding.
I am hiding.
I am
We are going to
prone
roll
in the
initiative,
boat.
everybody.
oh my god.
I am prone in the boat.
I am prone in the boat.
6, oh no! You know what's really sad? I was gonna say, I really hope I don't turn into her because literally Aurelia's character description is long, jet black hair and goddamn.
So, you see the hair constrict around this man, his eyes bulge, and you actually don't hear anything. No sound from him. You can see him begin to twist and contort in weird ways as the pressure of this constriction begins to break his bones. You can see his eyes bulging. There should be sound coming from him, but it is deathly quiet. The hair then does a quick flicking motion and sends him flying off into the water as she begins to approach. Oh, fucking cat. Okay, sorry. Cat just like leapt onto the keyboard right in front of me. Gave me a little spook. All right, everybody. Veronis, you are up first.
I think the cat just wants to run initiative, man.
Right?
Screw it. I'm gonna shoot her. Good sharpshooter.
What is that, a 9? Unfortunately, that
Something like that.
does miss, goes wide over her. You all can hear the splash several feet farther back into the lake.
About where she's standing, do I get the impression of how deep it is?
She is standing on top of the water, Veronis. So her location in the water is not any way of knowing how deep it is. She is literally on top of it.
Have Carlotta move there and ready in action to try to grapple her if she comes in range.
Okay.
That'll be my turn.
Her hair rushes across the surface of the water and begins to wrap around Carlotta. It is a 21 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
That is going to be 16 slashing damage, and Carlotta is grappled.
Irony.
She takes a step forward, still walking across the surface of the water, her eyes still focused on the little girl. Bolivar.
I'm gonna stand in front of the girl and say, "Stay behind me," and I'm gonna try and maneuver myself to provide at least partial cover for her.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna hold my action, so when Titera gets within 5 feet of this thing, I will cast Inflict Wounds.
Got it.
And are we doing separate initiative for?
No, they can act on your initiative.
Okay. Then Titera will move near her, and I will cast Inflict Wounds. So I'll use my free casting from Shadow Touch and roll my attack roll. How do I roll spell attack? I can't just roll spell attack. Okay. Then I will just manually roll it.
22 hits.
Perfect. All right.
What ability are you using again, Bolivar?
It's Inflict Wounds.
Okay, cool.
So 3. I guess I'll have to roll it. 16 necrotic damage.
Bolivar,
Does she seem affected by
the
it?
necrotic energy washes over her body and does nothing to her.
I'm gonna really, like, with my hand and my hook, just make sure I'm constantly making sure the little girl's behind me and my eyes widen.
Got it.
Someone needs to stop this thing. That's my turn.
All right. Okay, Sam. First off, go ahead and roll your stealth check.
Sure.
Okay. You believe yourself to be sufficiently hidden.
No, I saw that guy rise, right?
The guy?
I saw the guy rise, like the way, like you said the guy like rose out of the water as if he was.
She was
So
controlling him with her
she
tail.
had her hair wrapped around him like a straitjacket almost, and she lifted him up and out of the water, broke him, and then flung him aside.
Okay, so I'm just gonna yell out, "This is how you make an entrance!" And I'm gonna like rise from the boats with that like same movement.
The woman's face and body phases from facing the party, and she doesn't turn. Her entire face just kind of melts through to the other side, and she lifts up her hands that are now facing towards you and pull parts her hair so she can see you.
And I'm gonna use the hawk spirit. So I'm gonna place the hawk spirit right here. So
Okay.
Everyone's in range. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ty. Did you send me art for those and I just forgot to set up the tokens because I don't think I've done that yet.
So far we've been using it as like aura, but
Okay.
I mean, the tokens are there. It looks like.
for now we can use the Beast of Air and Sky.
Okay, yeah, the tokens are there. I just forgot you had different art you wanted for them. So which one did you want now? The air and sky?
Aaron, yeah, I'll just drop it that for now.
Okay, perfect.
Ignore the health and all that stuff because that doesn't matter. And so, okay, and then I'm gonna launch a Guiding Bolt.
Oh God, sorry, I didn't die. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, guiding bolt.
Suddenly, she whips around on the air and sky beast.
Okay, guiding bolt. Oh, 10
And I'm gonna use my Spirit Hawks. I'm gonna use a reaction with the Spirit Hawk totem to give myself advantage on that.
17 hits.
Reaction to grand advantage, yes.
Yeah, so 17. So
17 hits.
all right. I'll roll damage on that. Oops, that's not the right one.
You can hit the guiding bolt button in the chat bar. The one underneath your... Yep, there you go. 11,
11
okay.
radiance, and y'all have advantage on attacks. I'm back.
Fantastic. So it strikes her, Sam, and she stumbles a bit, falling under the water. Her hand drops and places on top of the water. Again, she does not seem to sink into the water unless she chooses to. And, yeah, you've definitely got her attention, Sam.
All right. That'll be my turn since I... Well, can I make a jump to the to over here? No, I already used half my movement. No, that's fine. Good.
If you've used half your movement to jump, you can get there.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I'll just
Rules
try
is
to
rules is
avoid
written. You can jump a distance equal to your strength score, I believe it is, and half that distance if you're standing and don't get a running start. So yeah, you're within range to make a jump to there.
half of the strength score, so my strength mod is 0.
Score the entire score.
Oh, 10. Oh, 10.
So you can make a 5-foot standing jump. If you make an athletics check to go with it, I'll say you can make 10 feet. We'll call it a DC 12.
Sure. Athletics. I'll stay.
Okay. All right.
And my turn.
Got it. Aurelia.
Alright. I am going to step up. I'm going to give Carlotta heroism, and then I am going to step back over here and end my turn.
Okay. Where'd you step up to?
Base right over here.
Where were you when you helped Carlotta?
I was right here when I was touching Carlotta.
Aurelia, as you step away, hair bursts up and out of the water and strikes you. As she gets an opportunity attack as you leave her range.
Oh, Jesus.
That is a 23 to hit, Aurelia.
That hits.
That is going to be 13 slashing, and you are grappled.
Oh.
You all see Aurelia rush up and try to dodge away, but as she steps, tendrils of this black inky hair rush up out of the water and wrap around her ankle, catching her and tripping her as more of these tendrils reach out and grab onto her.
Yeah, I used my action, so I'm gonna end my turn there.
Are you concentrating on anything?
Heroism I am.
Perfect, okay. Brings us to Arabelle, who is going to run the fuck away. Yeah, she's not in its range, so she rushes away. Veronis.
It is 3 temporary hit points, by the way, Ulrich.
Yeah, so even if it takes my action, can I take a minute to see if this is a creature I know anything about and possibly identify any weaknesses of?
You have an ability that'll allow you to do that?
I mean, nothing beyond my general expertise.
Okay, so go ahead and make an Arcana check. $13. Okay. With a 13, you can tell that this is a corporeal undead. Aside from that, she doesn't share any similarities to any creature you've ever encountered before. That being said, Bolivar and Veronis and anyone else closer to Arabelle would have likely heard her say the drowned maiden in a very terrified voice, almost like it was a fairy tale that she'd heard when she ran. That doesn't ring any bells for any of you, fortunately.
Was that my action then?
No, yeah, that's totally fine to use as a free action. As part of that, though, Aurelia, being Vistana, why don't you go ahead and make a history check? It's going to be pretty high since you've admittedly never really been to Barovia before this, but there's a possibility that some of the other travelers may have heard this drowned maiden spoken of before.
Alright.
Okay, that's
Nope.
a negative. That's a negative. All right.
He is a negative, chief.
Alright, then I'll try to shoot her in the face.
Cool. $14 just misses Veronis.
An undead Bolivar. And so, Carlotta's still grappled?
Carlotta is grappled, yes.
He's just gonna do a self-repair. be my turn.
Okay. She drags. You know what? Give me just 1 second. I have to check something on her real quick. Okay, so commoner level. Okay. She is going to drop the Steel Defender into the water and drag Aurelia 15 feet towards her. Aurelia face to face with her, you can smell death and just when something gets left in the tub for too long or in a body of water for too long, just this vaguely rotted smell waves off of her. But that is all she can do for now. Bolivar.
All right. Final second level slot. I will mind whip her, so she'll need to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Got it.
DC 14.
She does get a 19 on that, unfortunately.
Okay, so she takes 3 psychic damage. I will move. I'm gonna tell the girl. I keep forgetting her name. Starts with an A.
Arabelle.
Arabelle. I'm gonna move closer to her and say, "Stay close to us."
She nods.
Hold on. Does that enough movement? Yeah. All right, that's my turn.
Okay. Sam.
Sheet. Okay, so I'm gonna make that jump right now.
Okay.
You said athletics check?
Yep.
8.
You land prone.
Fantastic. I guess I'll use the rest of my movement to get up, I suppose. And I'm going to... I'm gonna healing word.
Okay.
Aurelia. So that's 4 healing plus
3.
5.
Right?
Yeah, plus 3. Yep, plus 3.
Thank you.
And I'm going to use Sacred Flame on this guy. Oh, sure.
Ooh.
Dex save.
Unfortunate. She does fail that dex save with an 11.
1 radiant.
1 is better than none.
Indeed.
Yep. And that'll be my turn.
Got it. Okay, Aurelia, you're up.
Fuck, I just realized I don't have Thunder Wave. What's the check to get out of the grappling? Acrobatics or athletics?
Acrobatics or athletics?
Okay, I'm gonna try and acrobatics myself out of the grapple then.
Okay.
It's not good, man.
Aurelia, struggle as you might. Cannot escape.
What do we got? Bonus action, free action, reaction. You know what? I'm just gonna stay here and pray, so I'm gonna end my turn.
Alright. Arabelle's gonna stay back there behind Bolivar. We can go ahead and drop her out of initiative now. She'll stick to Bolivar. Veronis, you're up.
Alright. Range. Okay. First thing I'm going to try to do is step over here.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Sanctuary on Aurelia. Think. Oops. And then, so Carlotta's still grappled. She can't move.
She dropped her. She dropped Carlotta. Uninterested.
Oh, I thought. Okay. Then she's gonna move up and, yeah, try to punch her.
Okay. 17 hits. All right.
I turned dark mode on and my squirrel brain is struggling to find everything now.
I really do like dark mode, especially for the darker themey games like this. It just feels nice.
Did you guys not have dark mode before today?
Oh, I think we've had it for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dark mode
not
for
the main
dark
screen.
mode for the main screen is new.
Oh, for the intro screen, I see.
Oh,
I see
yeah.
what you're saying.
Jeez, my eyes. We're so grateful for that. All right,
Hey,
anything
you
else
know
from
what?
Veronis?
At least you got a tan, so.
But that is my turn.
Okay. All right. So, the Steel Defender. She's struck by it, kind of looks down towards it, but again, she seems generally uninterested in the unliving. She looks up towards the little girl and seeing how far away she is now. Aurelia, she is going to step away and take you with her as she begins walking farther towards, deeper into the water. She is then, Carlotta would get an opportunity attack. That is going to miss.
I'll use the reaction of the hawk to give that advantage.
Okay, 22 hits. Three force. Once she gets out into the water, her hair is going to whip up from a weird spot, Sam. It's going to come up like underneath the boards and wrap up and try to wrap around your feet and ankles. Sam, that is only a 12 to hit.
That'll miss.
Okay. You're able to pull your feet away and move a few feet away from the hair as it wraps up and through the boards of the dock. But then she turns towards Aurelia and lifts one hand up towards you, Aurelia. I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
One of us.
The DC is 15. Aurelia, you can see as she touches you, you can feel warmth beginning to drain away from you. You're able to resist, but you can feel your joints begin to stiffen, almost like she was drawing strength away from you to try and bring into her own self. But that is her turn. Bolivar.
Alright, I'm gonna hold my action to cast invisibility on Sam, so he'll have advantage on an attack
Are you within range?
when that's why I'm holding my action,
Okay,
so that
got it.
when so Títere will Títere will use its reaction when Sam gets nearby to cast
Okay.
it on him,
Got it.
and then it's gonna use its action to it's gonna move here. It'll use its action to use the help action on Aurelia.
Okay, so it's going to use its action to do that, but it's technically holding on to your action for you for your spell casting,
Yeah,
right?
so it's weird.
Wait,
I'm
yeah,
Bolivar
it's a
would
little-
be holding his action to cast a spell through.
the
Títere.
familiar. The familiar uses
Right.
a reaction when
Yeah,
I
it's-
cast through it.
It's a little wonky,
It's
but it
weird.
seems to make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. All right, Sam.
All right, cool. That actually works. So I'm gonna run up next to Títere.
You are invisible.
All right, you're invisible
All right.
until you attack.
Well, which I'm gonna do right now.
But you do get
So-
advantage from unseen attacker.
Right. So, like, I'm
Make sure she
phasing
doesn't
in
have
and
true
out.
sight or anything crazy like that. I don't think she does. No. Okay.
I was gonna say at level 4, something having true sight is insane.
And I'm gonna whip out a flame blade.
Ooh, nice.
So thank God for that advantage.
Yeah.
So Sam trying to be extra anime here. 10 fire.
All right. Still making no sound, And in fact, now that you're all in here, you're all realizing that none of you are making any sound. If you get close enough to her, no sound escapes. She has a permanent aura of silence about her.
Oh wait, so
Fucking
hold
hell.
up, and let me double check something.
Do you have verbal components for your
Flame
spell?
Flame Blade is verbal components, yeah.
All my spells have verbal components.
Oof.
So that Flame Blade ever happened?
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll it back. You can do something else.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It would make sense for Sam to
To
just
try
run
and find it
do
out that way.
this.
Okay. All right.
No, yeah, it would make sense.
All right.
So,
Extending in a 20-foot radius around her is a permanent aura of silence.
No Flame Blade. I have my bonus action. Can I even do anything?
So does Carlotta still have heroism, or
I think I'm still concentrating on it.
Yeah, and I think Aurelia got that cast before. No, she was.
I was within 15 feet, so I think technically it would never have gone off, I think? Because I was within 15 feet of her.
Yeah, if you were within 15 feet of her, then there would be the silence aura would reach you.
Yeah, so it would have never gone off. In theory.
you want to roll that back then, DM?
Yeah, we can do that. Aurelia, what would you have cast instead? Well,
I
no,
would
because
not-
I feel like she would have tried and failed, just like what Sam did just now.
Yeah. I would have tried and failed. So. Damn.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna just stay here. I can't do nothing. Actually, I'm gonna post up right here, actually, and then I'll end my turn there.
Okay, Aurelia.
Oh my god, I swear if this acrobatics doesn't work.
You have
You
advantage.
still have sanctuary though.
Yes,
Oh, that's
Sanctuary is
true,
still
actually.
good. Yes, you are free.
Alright. I'm just gonna back up 2 squares toward the boardwalk, and I'm gonna stay within her range, and I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay, Veronis.
He's clear. Kind of get an angle and line up another shot.
Okay.
Sharpshooter doesn't seem to be working out, so we'll drop that for this attack.
Got it. Why don't you get like a 26 this time?
Yeah, I know.
That's the way that works. There's the 22.
Yeah.
That's a hit. Okay, for 9 piercing. And your attacks are magical. Awesome. Alright, Veronis, anything else?
Alada's gonna slosh through the water up to here. Is she still above, or?
She would be probably just that circular portion of her, of like the top part of her head would be sticking out right now. So like those last 2 lines are all that's above water.
And she's gonna hold her action to attack when the witch comes near.
Okay.
Maiden.
Alright. Aurelia, the maiden is not happy that you escaped her. She is going to try and grab you again. That is a 16 to hit, Aurelia.
Oh my, again? Are you kidding?
Can-
I hate it here.
Does the
So I
Still
had Carla
Defender
to hold an action, but can she instead use her reaction to
impose
give
disadvantage?
disadvantage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 14 with disadvantage.
It still hits!
Oh no. Alright, Aurelia, that is 12 slashing, and you are once more grappled. Sam, walking along the top of the water, standing next to you, she is just going to look out towards you and lash out with her hand. As that does, you can see these black tendrils form away from her and form these vicious dagger-like claws as she lashes out at you. That's a 25 to hit you, Sam.
Oh wait, she has to make a wisdom save.
4. Oh, right.
Me. Oh,
Against
yeah.
Aurelia? Yeah, okay. Here it comes. Wisdom save result is only an 8. So she does not strike Aurelia.
Yeah.
Instead, she strikes Sam.
Yeah. Instead, she strikes Sam. For it's only 7 slashing with the claw, though, Sam.
Okay, so 7 slashing for her attack, but what about the one that was meant for Aurelia?
The one that was meant for Aurelia missed.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it has to Sanctuary. It has to pick a different target.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wisdom save fails. It has to be a different target. So Sam, she is not interested in the Steel Defender at all. So that would have gone for you with a 16 on the main roll.
That'll miss. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my token isn't updating.
Yeah, there's like a weird bug where it's like the actual health bar above you doesn't.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too,
Actually update.
where your number bar doesn't update properly. The numbers above your head.
I mean, the token still works for me, so it's like it sucks that we have to click on the tokens, but
Yeah, and I'm not like I can still see it. Like I'm seeing. Oh, not anymore. Sam, you just took some damage, right?
Yeah.
The 7 from the slashing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm seeing the numbers changing. Are you all not?
not
I
above
see
mine.
7 off. Yeah, I see him at 28 out
Okay.
of 35.
So that's a pretty easy fix. Just a refresh of the browser should fix that. If anyone starts to see their numbers not matching up on the top of your screen, on top of your token.
Gotcha. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
That works. Yep.
Okay. Boulevard.
Alright, I'm gonna tell the girl, stay inside the box, and I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion, encase her in a metal box, and then
Nice.
I'm gonna move there, and that'll be my turn. Dieter will continue to give the help action this time for Sam.
Okay. Sam, you're up.
That's my turn.
I cannot hear things. I cannot see. I'm going to run. Something I can really do. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and take that opportunity.
Sam, as you move outside of 20 feet from her, it is a 25 to hit as tendrils of hair reach up out of the ground and out of the water towards you.
Sure.
11 slashing, and you are grappled right there.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else from Sam?
I'm trying to see if I'm still in the cone of silence, but I am.
Yeah, 20 feet. 20 feet out, and that's her distance with her hair, too.
Ah, that's annoying. I'm going to.
Gotta love Coldwell Press. They designed some pretty wicked monsters.
Yeah. I'm gonna wild shape into a little tiny spider and get out of there.
Okay, yeah.
Would that break the grapple?
I feel like it would. Use your action to wild shape? Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, action of wild shape, and then I'll just use the rest of my movement to.
Alright, so you all see the hair just collapse into a pile and a little spider comes crawling out of it, running away.
I can drop wild shape and at any time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So can I just wild shape? Can I drop wild shape same turn? Or
I think so. I don't think there's anything that says you can't.
Because wild shape is such a giant like essay. Okay, well, if that's, I'll just end my turn as a spider. Just
Okay.
I'll drop it next turn. Okay.
Relia.
I am gonna disengage out of there.
All right.
Because I am not gonna get hit. And then I am going to give Bardic Inspiration to Boulevard. I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay. Veronis.
I'm gonna shoot.
That's a hit.
Of course, now that I've taken sharpshooter out.
Right now the eye rolls are coming. That is always the way it works. I feel so bad. Like I know when I'm running the sharpshooter build, I just leave it on always, but I totally get the sentiment. But I see this happen all the time. It's like, fuck, sharpshooter's not working, I'm gonna take it off, and then all of like the 20 plus rules start rolling in.
Fine.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
well, I don't know. I assume Carlotta sinks. Like, she might be.
She's a bunch of barrels, right? Is this indicative of her actual design? Because that looks like it might float to me.
Yeah, I mean, more or less. This is still the same Carlotta that I made out of bits I found in the Mardikov's forest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
Mostly of wooden construction. We'll call her semi-buoyant. We'll say that if she's out in more than if she has to float, then she has disadvantage on all her attacks and half movement speed.
You know what? I'll take that.
Okay.
So she'll move up and force swipe with disadvantage.
All right. That is going to be a miss.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay. So, the drowned maiden, completely ignoring Carlotta, comes up to right here and stops on the shore. Yep, 15 hits. Really?
Yep. Just life as a bard is hard sometimes.
Okay. Bolivar. She looks towards you and gives you the same uninterested look that she gave to Carlotta.
Huh. So I'm undead.
Right, your tech class, your type is technically undead, isn't it?
I believe so.
I thought technically he's humanoid, but gives off the presence of undead.
Good enough.
You might be right.
Good enough. All right. Varonis, you have a hair attack. Varonis, you have a hair attack coming your way.
Attack.
Hair attack, 14 to hit.
That misses.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then... Okay. That's your turn. Bolivar.
All right, I'm gonna continue running towards her and try to say, "What have you done with the other kids?" But obviously, no sound comes out. So I'm gonna whip out my quarterstaff two-handed and just
nice.
Abort mission.
I'm just gonna bang this lady over and over. 14.
14 does not hit.
Okay, I miss, and then
You
DJ
do
is
have
gonna
bardic
come in.
inspiration.
Oh,
I will use it.
yeah, 15 hits.
Sweet. 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and I'm just
Whacks
viciously
into her
swinging.
side, and she looks down at you for a moment. Her head kind of tilts confusedly.
Yep,
Good.
the wizard's gonna go melee and kill this. I'm just viciously just swinging at her.
All right.
Titre will use the help action. For
She
Sam.
does only take half damage from that staff attack.
That's okay. Sam is grappled, right?
No, he got out with the wild shaping into a spider.
Never mind. I will sit Titre right there to use the help action for Carlotta if she comes by. All right, that's my turn.
Got it. Okay. They never I'm sorry. I keep looking over towards Discord and seeing the Metal Gear Solid meme. Did they ever actually remake Metal Gear Solid?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
I feel like there was
Metal Gear
one back in
Solid?
like 2008 that was kind of a
Yeah.
remake.
Twin Snakes, GameCube.
Okay. I really just want like a modern like 1-to-1 remake of that game so bad. Like so bad.
I just want a Wonder One remake of the box scene.
Legal issues. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, really? It's just not going to happen? Oh, no.
Because one, Kojima no longer with Konami. Two, Metal Gear series has a bunch of like footage from like actual like footage of like soldiers and stuff like that, and
Uh-huh.
and all these like speeches and stuff like that. This is the actual footage that needs to be copyrighted, and they ran out of that copyright. That's why you can't purchase the game anymore at the moment.
Weird. I did not know any of that. Like, the original Metal Gear Solid is one of my all-time favorites, just like I'm sure it is for a lot of people. And I'm like, I just need to play that game again so bad.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Moving on.
You like box stuff though. Metal Gear Solid 5 had like a full move set for the cardboard box.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I think it's just more
Weird.
nostalgia because like none of the new Metal Gears really like struck me as super interesting to me. I think it's more just nostalgia that I want to play Metal Gear Solid again.
Phantom Pain was pretty good.
Phantom Pain, for sure. All right, where we at?
Metal Gear Solid 3, best one.
Nice.
Peter.
You're not wrong.
I'm gonna, okay. So Bolivar's turn. Bolivar finishes. Yeah, Bolivar. Okay. I'm gonna disengage.
Okay.
I'm gonna run that away. As a human, not a human, but as a humanoid. And I can still cast a spell. Do we know what's causing the cone of silence, or is it just a thing?
I think it's safe to assume for all of you that it's coming from her somehow. Aside from that,
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna use Shield of Faith on Bolivar.
Sam, if you want to make a Arcana check, you can do so as a free action to kind of see if you can get a feel for what's causing the silence effect.
Sure.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah, Sam, you can tell it is essentially just the spell that she can cast at will.
Okay. Plus 2 to your AC, Bolivar.
All right, thank you.
And that's all. That's all.
All right,
Ooh.
Aurelia.
Alright, I'm gonna move a little bit more back because I hate this cone of silence, and I am going to cast Vicious Mockery on her, and she'll be like, "You are the ugliest woman I've ever seen. Stay away."
So wisdom save result is a 10.
Hey, let's go. And yeah, I'm gonna move one more step back and end my turn.
Okay, Uranus.
I'm going to use Vicious Shooter in the face.
Oh, and
Tempt
she has
fate.
Tempt fate.
I just remember she has disadvantage on her next attack.
Awesome.
Tempt Fate, make it a sharpshooter.
Hey, oh,
Woo!
oh,
Wow.
yeah, look at that.
Nice. Very nice.
That's what we call a payoff right there. So that is 25 points. Fantastic. From a magical source, even. Okay.
And then, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Predator, Carlotta's gonna rise out of the water.
God damn it.
He has advantage. Tita is helping her.
She's gonna try to do her force-empowered death hug.
I swear. Oh,
Oh,
my god.
what?
Oh
Carlotta!
my god, no way. That's amazing.
Holy crap!
Wow. What a time for that.
Indeed, wow. Okay, fantastic. So, Carlotta comes up from behind her. She is thoroughly focused on everybody on the shore, completely ignoring Bolivar and the Steel Defender, right up until Carlotta comes up from behind her and wraps her in a bear hug. As that happens, hair begins to explode up out of the water, almost like these spiky pillars erupting out of the water, and they all begin rushing towards Carlotta. This creature suddenly realizing the danger that it's in. But just before they manage to reach Carlotta, Bolivar, and the bat, Carlotta just squeezes, and you all see this bright flash as the Force-empowered bear hug obliterates the drowned maiden.
All right.
As she explodes in that blast of light, you hear this screaming echo out across the lake, the silence finally broken.
Whew. That was a tough fight. That's a really cool monster. I've never
Yeah, it
seen
really
that monster
is. It
before.
really is.
Is it in Tome of Beast
I
1?
forget. It's definitely a Kobold Press release. Let me see if I can find out which one it's in.
I'm gonna use that on my player. She's really cool.
Yeah, she's super cool.
Yeah.
And she's very strong, but she's also super well balanced. Like, I like this. I like this song.
Yeah, I like that we had to kind of think outside the box to beat her because
Yeah.
she was a challenge for sure.
She's from Tome of Beasts 1.
Tome of Beasts, okay, the first one. Okay.
Yes. Well, all right, everyone. As Arabelle kind of pokes her head out from the illusory box and looks around and asks if she's gone, we are going to go ahead and take our break there. And when we come back, we'll be back here on Lake Zarovich, victorious.
Hell
right.
yeah.
So welcome back, everybody. You all have just defeated the Drowned Maiden, and as you all recuperate from that and regain your wits and recover from the strangeness that was a waterlogged corpse rising out of the water and attacking you with her hair, Arabelle would be looking terrified out at the lake, and speaking to her, you're able to get little bits and pieces of the fact that the Drowned Maiden is a fairy tale, or at least it is to her and a lot of the people that she knows. The older people would talk about how children weren't allowed to play near the lake, how adults even stayed away from it because of a vengeful woman who would emerge and drag people into the depths. But again, to her, this was just a fairy tale, just a story.
Based on our multiple encounters with ghosts, undead, spirits, etc., is this the sort of victory that feels like she's been vanquished or temporarily displaced?
So, go ahead and... Well, there's really no way to know just yet. There's really no way of knowing for sure just yet. You haven't really gotten a chance to speak with anyone on this matter that would know, and it's not something that would be innately accessible to you. So, perhaps speaking to somebody that knows more about the lore of this place might be helpful, but,
Fair.
yeah. So, why don't you go ahead and make a charisma check to see if you can... We'll see if we can jog Arabelle's memory, if she remembers anything about if anyone had fought this creature before.
Yeah, I'll try and persuade her into seeing if she knows of anything.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
not good.
Right, yeah, she cannot remember ever hearing about anyone that fought the Drowned Maiden. They're just fairy tales to her, something her mom would tell her so that she wouldn't go wandering too far out into the lake by herself and things like that.
Well,
Point of order, Bluto's crushed corpse is still just floating face down in the water about 10 feet from shore.
I mean, that would be like an average Wednesday to Aurelia, just seeing a dead corpse, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we can guess as to what happened to the children then.
I mean, they're probably drowned and then, dead, maybe. I kind of don't want to go into that water and kind of test, whatever's down there again. If there's more of them.
They'd be at the bottom of the lake if there was anything left of them.
Yeah.
Guys, I
think about it, but you're probably right.
think this is a sufficient explanation. In fact, I would even suspect that the Burgermeister knew of this drowned maiden.
I wouldn't put anything past that man. Nonetheless, we fulfilled our duty here. Let's take the child back home and bring news of the dead
You all hear a voice call out from behind you. That won't be necessary. And then you hear the twigs breaking and branches snapping of 3 Mardikovs, led by Davian Mardikov. They are extraordinarily grateful that you have found Arabelle. Sorry, I can't really do voices right now. But they are extraordinarily grateful that you have found Arabelle and say that they can take her back. They were scouring the lakeside for the past several hours now, searching for her. If you were to tell them what you saw and what you saw with Bluto out there, they would say that you hadn't been there about an hour ago when they checked this spot. So they are very fortunate that you all managed to stumble across this scene when you did. They have confirmed that they have found 2 children washed up on the shore in burlap sacks further along the coastline. It appears that they had been dead for many years, even by the states of them, but they know for a fact that they had only gone into the water, that they had only gone missing days ago. Kind of hinting at what fate might have been in store for Arabelle had you not arrived.
Say nothing else of it. We wouldn't have let anything happen to her once we found out what was going on.
They nod appreciatively, and you hear one of them speak up from the back. One of the younger Mardikovs, young man maybe in his late teens, shakily holding onto his bow, looking around, very worriedly. Doesn't seem like he's gotten too much experience yet, but he whispers to Davy and the older man in the front, and he says, "There's no denying it now. The dark times are back. Doesn't matter what the Burgomeister says or says hasn't been working. This proves it."
Yes, well,
Surprise
perhaps
to
these
us.
dark times will end soon.
Davian kind of furrows his brow. You can tell that he's an older man, right? He's in his late 50s, early 60s, so he was a man back when this shit was going on for real, like back when 20 years ago, before this all stopped. So he would... What was it that you said, Bolivar?
I said that possibly it would come to an end soon.
He would say that it's only ended once before. And
Was it when the heroes came?
he nods.
The heroes that are now corrupted and touched by shadow.
He doesn't know anything about that, but again, he does thank you for rescuing Arabelle from what would have been a gruesome fate. Says that Petra has found her way to the Blue Water, and while some of his family may still hold some animosity towards you all, he, while he doesn't approve of having left them stranded, understands why you might have done it, and says that all is forgiven, at least in his eyes, and as the matriarch, others will follow his lead. Patriarch, sorry.
Good. Glad you're over it. We have bigger things to deal with.
He nods and looks out towards the water, and he says that he's afraid that you all certainly do.
This Mordenkainen, do you know anything about him? His current whereabouts, that sort of thing.
He would refer to him as the Mad Wizard on the mountain. Aside from seeing the occasional random lightning strike or explosion of fire on the mountainside, he knows nothing about him.
That mountain? The one we see from here?
He would nod.
Can we leave the explanations to the Mardikovs? I doubt that the Burgomeister will welcome us at this point.
Yes. a most convenient time for the Mardikovs to arrive. At least for us. The less I have to see of Valakai, the better.
He would say that the Burgomeister and the Marchkovs are not on speaking terms. In fact, it's been a constant struggle to keep from being run out of town, especially these last few years. He will not be doing any communication with them.
So be it.
Should we head back or try to parlay with this wizard first?
I mean,
I say. Sorry, go ahead, Early.
yeah, go for it.
I say we go talk to the wizard. Now that we found the cause of the missing children and we've stopped it, no more will go missing. There is no urgency to the matter.
We're here anyway, so we may as well go see what exactly is going on. So, I mean, we got no better. I don't want to go back to Valakai anyway. I'd rather go see this wizard.
And Blinsky has the dress ready for you day after tomorrow. Right? Oh, no, tomorrow. It's now the next day, so tomorrow he'll have the dress for you. Is that right? He said he needed you rush for 2 days. So today, okay, so he'll have it for you by the end of the day tomorrow.
This morning, yeah.
End of business tomorrow, he'll have the dress for you.
Well, let's take 2 of the boats.
Okay. So, loading up on a pair of the boats and rowing across the lake. Certainly a much faster route than walking the long way around.
I hope that was the only monster haunting this lake.
Alright, so, as you all cross the lake in your rowboats, would somebody please roll a d20 for me? Veronis says it was your idea. I think that would be you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Like cure wounds myself.
Alert.
Okay. Just gotta check something real quick. Could somebody please roll a d100 for me?
Alright, I'll do it.
Thank you.
40 goblins? Isn't that
Oh,
a
no.
lot?
So as you're all making your way across the lake, you come across a particularly calm patch, no ripples, no water, anything like that. And as you're looking over the side, you can see a single bubble rise up and pop on the surface, followed by another and another, until the surface of the water in a circle about maybe 10 feet in radius, the water inside of it is just boiling. Not with heat, but with some sort of frenzied activity beneath the surface of the water. It boils and boils, and you can hear it foaming, making this loud racket. It is almost deafening against the silence of the rest of the lake. After 2 or 3 seconds of the water beginning to foam and boil like that, it turns bright red as something is clearly bleeding quite a bit beneath the surface. This foaming and bubbling goes on like that for another 3 or 4 seconds and then suddenly stops. As your boat drifts away, all you see is a slick of red across the water behind you. Who wants to go in and find out what it was?
Well,
Nope.
I was going to say, just kind of as we pull alongside it, I would take my cane and kind of mix the water around a bit.
Okay. As you do that, you don't feel anything. Whatever's happening is happening far below the surface.
You know, I think somebody died down there. I don't kind of want to investigate that, so I say we move on.
It's like that things die.
Anybody proficient in nature could probably make a nature check for a little insight as to what happened here.
Not me.
Sam?
I'm -1. Don't look at me.
Right? Sam does not have any. He is a city druid, okay?
Smart, but I'm not proficient.
I could call upon my knowledge from a past life.
It's purely aesthetic. It's up to you all if you want to know what was going on down there.
I mean, I'll make the roll anyway. I have a +3.
Sure,
so
nature. Okay.
I'll do the sessional. Fuck it.
Okay, cool. So Aurelia, you've been to several of the domains, right?
I would say I've maybe been to like 1 or 2 others, like maybe
Okay,
Dark
maybe
Dawn,
1 or
and
2.
that's it.
Okay, cool. So you would have heard stories of some of other Vistana that had gone into the jungle. I forget what it's called, but there's a jungle domain.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they would have told stories of something called a piranha. And what you just witnessed was very similar to what they described when this swarm of fish attacked a larger fish below the water. The foaming, followed by the blood, followed by the still calmness. While the idea of those jungle creatures being here is obviously extremely out of the question. What appeared to have been mimics what you heard a story about of a swarm of smaller creatures attacking a larger one under the water.
You know, I had a cousin in Valishon visit me one time. He lives in this foresty area, and apparently he told me a story about the piranha. I think that's exactly what happened. So basically there's a carnivorous fish probably under us somewhere.
Hey, Sam, I told you it was a bad idea to go swimming.
Let's try not to fall in the water then.
Yeah, no.
Something nudges the underside of your boat. You all feel it rock just a bit.
Pick up the baseball color.
All right, everyone. So, after what feels like an eternity of rowing across the boat, especially after encountering that swarm of whatever under the water, you do eventually make landfall on the other side. Dragging your boat up into the rocky shore, it is notably colder on this side of the mountain, on this side of the lake. You can feel the freezing winds blowing down. Some of the water from those of you that got wet begins to freeze onto your clothes as you look at the mountain and see that you have a bit of a climb ahead of you.
For considerations of time, does that crossing feel like it took an hour, couple hours?
About 40 minutes, a little less than an hour. Actually, let me check the map real quick, because I feel like, you know, Lake Zarovich is a big lake, so let me see the map and we'll check that out real quick. So the distance is about 1.5 miles that you would have had to cover across the lake. So I can't imagine that taking more than an hour to do in a rowboat, trying to keep a quick pace.
Well,
Okay, yeah. A fast pace on a rowboat is about 3 to 4 miles per hour, so you definitely got there in a little less than an hour.
do we just go around yelling his name, or do we?
All of the stories that you all have heard have been of things happening up on the mountain, not in the foothills. So, like, if the people were pointing, they would have been pointing at places like this, and like that, where they were seeing the fireballs and the lightning bolts and all that stuff.
Looks like we have a few days of travel ahead of us.
I mean, you think it's
Olimar.
gonna be? You think it'll be
Sorry.
a few days?
You're sitting among wizards. Is there like a sign, a message, something you use to communicate?
Unfortunately, I have no way to communicate from afar, but perhaps there may be signs that'll help us find the way. Yeah, I'll look for any kind of arcane symbols or maybe
Okay.
any sign of dropped components or anything of the sort that might help us find a way up. Or maybe just a trail.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check. And just as a point of order, up the mountain and back down is probably about a half day up, about a half day down.
Okay.
Can I assist with this survival? Because I'm proficient.
Sure.
Guys,
Yeah, and I'll recall my knowledge from past life to add a d6. Definitely using that.
So 13. Okay. So the 13, with a 13, you can see that there is only that finding your way up onto the side of the mountain would be relatively difficult. There's not a whole lot of paths, but with a 13, you do find one path leading up. Whether or not this leads to the wizard, there's no signs of that at all, but you do manage to find a path leading up and into the mountain.
I tell the group,
Oh, sorry.
Or up the mountain, I should say.
this seems like the only way up. I don't see any other signs of wizardly doings around here.
I do have one theory. I doubt Mordenkainen moved out here for the neighborhood. And if he's an interdimensional wizard, he could probably move faster than we can. What if we built a fire, a signal of some kind? Something he would notice. Maybe he'll come to us.
I mean, here's the big problem with that. You know, we could cause a forest fire, and I don't want to be burning down some sort of forest in these kinds of places. So
It is also important to note that all the stories you've heard of Mordenkainen have been of a reclusive hermit.
Well, it's a sound idea, except I do agree with Aurelia. Plus, not just a forest fire, but we might attract more than just Mordenkainen.
Suppose that's true.
I think it's better that we go up this trail and see where it goes. So
Well, up the mountain.
Yeah, we'll go up. I'll have Tita scout ahead. Yeah, I'll ride on. Can I ride on your mount, on your steel defender, Brandis?
Sure.
That way I don't have to. That way I can see through my familiar's eyes. So he'll be 100 feet. I think is the range. So he'll be 100 feet ahead of us, and I'm gonna roll my eyes back and see through his eyes while I ride on Brandis. On what's her name? Cherry.
Carlotta.
Carlotta, yeah.
quite a lot of the chariots.
Carlotta Terry.
Guess we'll find out if Spider Climb works on ice.
They'll stick to the ice, which then slips.
Okay, so after maybe about an hour of following this trail, you begin to feel snow crunching beneath your feet. Wind is chill, and more of that moisture from the lake begins to freeze. Your clothes begin to grow stiff, cracking and crinkling as you move. So the trees begin a steady climb up the slopes of the mountain. The monolithic presence of this thing is pretty oppressive this close up. It seems like a monumental task to get anywhere near the top, but you trudge on. The ground here is rocky, uneven, tiring to navigate. As you're looking around, you can see that even the wolves and the other creatures seem to avoid this neck of the woods, so barren and inhospitable it is. Soon you climb above the blanket of fog that engulfs the valley. Dark thunder crowds rolling overhead, but you've emerged out from the fog, and it's almost like you're looking out over a blanket covering Barovia. You can see through it in some spots to see little towns or a little bit of forest here and there. But one thing is extremely clear. It is very, very cold up here. I need each of you to make Constitution saving throws. Those of you that entered the water and have taken no steps to dry yourselves do so at disadvantage.
Fantastic.
So that would be Sam and... I believe, Sam, you're the only one that went into the water, right?
I went
Aurelia,
in.
you were dragged in.
I was dragged in.
I had time to mention that Veronis can't find any shoes that fit him.
Oh no!
no!
Oh no! I'm getting a level of exhaustion! Yay!
Hey.
Alright, let me add the counter of exhaustion while I'm at it.
I'll throw it up right now.
Settings.
Okay. So it's in conditions, so maybe I can just do this.
There's that counter we were using it out of the abyss.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I have to just remember where it is in settings.
So
Although that's weird to see. Condition exhausted does not exist though.
I think I might be able to try exhaustion.
it's
Damn.
in the settings, the gear, and it's in the list on the right side. So show exhaustion tracking on.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. It's character sheet tracking. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the rules here. I just can't share them with you for some reason. But it's one level is disadvantage on ability checks. 2 is speed halved. 3 is disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. 4 is hit point maximum halved. 5 is your speed is reduced to 0, and 6 is you die.
Yep.
Yeah, the in-sheet tracker shows it automatically.
Awesome. Okay. So the DC is 10. Looks like everybody.
Oh. All right.
But me.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Having a rough day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why I said screw them kids, but you know.
So, trekking further up the mountain, does anybody take steps to dry their now frozen clothing?
Yes.
Yes.
So, starting a fire, prestidigitation, any of those things can dry your clothes. Also, open to suggestions if anyone knows of a better way, because you will need to make 2 more of these checks as we progress.
Maybe we should start a fire, get some torches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, let's start a fire. I'll control flames to expand it, so we all can benefit from it.
I just realized I don't got torches because I took the Entertainers pack and not the Explorers pack.
Alright, I have a tinderbox.
Alright.
And some oil.
Okay, so as you all do this, go ahead and take a short rest whilst you dry your clothes and gather yourselves.
What do I get on this short rest? Nothing.
I get a second level spell slot back, so that's good.
How's everyone's rest? Everybody. So during that rest, your clothes are dried. So the next check that you make will not be made at disadvantage for anyone that had wet clothes. So after spending an hour drying off your clothes, warming yourselves, and to continue your trek up the mountain. As you do so, we'll say another hour goes by, and we'll get one more round of Constitution saves against the cold.
I swear to God, if I get exhausted again.
Would I know of an animal that can kind of pass, like just ignore that can provide enough warmth?
Yeah, having lived in Ravnica, you would have seen all types of animals. So yeah, if you can find something that has a sufficiently thick coat, well, I don't think you'd be immune to it unless you find something that is actually like says that, like a polar bear or something like that. But if you get something that has a layer of fur, as bonus points if it's a chonky boy, you can have advantage on the rolls.
Bonus points if chonk.
Maybe do a seal.
Giant rats.
It's got fur. If it's got fur, you'll have advantage on the rolls.
Is the challenge rating half your level? Because polar bears CR2.
No, challenge rating is I can only do a fourth, I think.
Yeah, I think 1/2 is Moon Druid.
Yeah, I can only do a fourth at the moment. Giant owl. I don't know. That's not gonna. That's the best thing I can really do here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, an owl would give you advantage on the rolls.
Oh, I can't because it's like I'd be hopping.
Can't fly, yeah.
It can't. Okay. Forget it. It's fine.
Okay.
16.
You all succeed. Right? I'm missing one roll.
Sorry, got stuck. Hold on. There you go.
Okay, you all succeed. All right.
Point of curiosity, if you don't mind. That interesting leg of yours, does that get cold or?
I ignore the pain.
The man is literally half puppet, half gnome. What do you expect?
As there are no nerve endings, there should be no pain, but it's there. It's there. I just ignore it.
Like a phantom pain.
Of sorts, yes.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Oh, look, box.
And you, Kobold, come to be so industrious.
Wasn't always a kobold.
Wait, what?
Right? Wait, what?
That was
dragon at one point. Like
No.
super, like in his face.
No, I wasn't a dragon. I was a human back in Waterdeep.
Wait,
There
what?
were some vampires. This cult that my family had a run-in with. They had some insane notion of becoming dragons themselves. They prepared a ritual which they tried on me and turned me into this. They failed and left.
That answers a lot of questions. No wonder you have such hatred for the things.
No, that gives me more questions than answers, honestly. Like, what? Like, I have so many questions.
I don't understand the ritual of the magic myself, but look,
My first question is, why the hell do you guys have cultists that want to turn into dragons in your place?
vampires are insane, okay? It just so happens that this group of vampires was a little more insane than your garden variety.
you...
Vampire dragons. No one can stop them. I'm like looking off into the distance.
How does that even work? I mean, a tooth is the size of a human. It's gonna drain your blood, all right, but
Well,
just
I think
push
the
it to
idea was that they believe that vampires are like they have the souls of dragons trapped in a humanoid form, so through magical means they could achieve their true selves, but well, obviously this is about as far as they got, so
But like, what the hell are you? Are you supposed to be a kobold? Are you supposed to be a vampire? What the hell are you, if we're honest?
not a vampire, although the ritual did impart me with some of their traits.
So wait, are you just gonna like bite my neck off and drain my blood or something
No.
like that? Like,
Of course not. Dietary preference is about the limit of that particular curse, but you might have seen my unusual ability to climb, and well, there was that one time I bit a wolf. Don't prefer doing that.
I thought that was just little kobold things.
No, I honestly don't know much about what kobold things entails.
honestly, I feel like when I'm talking to all you guys, I feel like I don't understand your physiology at all. So it's like, imagine just somebody that grew up around, just elves, well, maybe one or two dwarves, but mostly elves, like maybe an orc, and humans, trying to figure out, how exactly a gnome, a elephant man, and a kobold exist. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm surprised you went this long without asking about it.
I mean, the thing is, when you started to talk about you turning into a kobold, is only when I know just sort of was like, you know what? I may as well bring up these questions.
At what point does altitude sickness start to kick in?
Yeah, I think the air is a little bit thin. We should hurry.
Indeed, we should. I believe this climb is taking a toll on our Aurelia.
Are we hearing this?
So, Sam, as you say that, you begin to notice some things. The wind has picked up and begins to blow up these snow flurries, and every now and then, as you're hearing these whispers and these voices, you look off towards the source. You can swear you see a person standing in the snow flurry, but as the wind blows them away, there's nothing there. This continues to happen until every few feet it seems like somebody is standing nearby, watching you all, trying to speak to you.
I think we're being watched. As I point out the figure the next time I spot it.
One of them looks like an elven woman, tall and lithe, a longbow slung over her back. She's holding out her hand as if trying to warn you about something. You see a massive figure in plate armor. Gives you a brief, kind of stern look before he's blown away too. Each of these figures that you're seeing appears to be a former adventurer of some type. Each one trying to tell you something, but the words are lost, picked up and blown away by the wind, as their forms are as well. Each one no more solid than a gust of wind with snow swirling around in it.
Spirits.
Yeah, I mean, they look like spirits.
But we haven't seen any creatures on this mountain. What do you suppose killed them?
Well, this Mordenkainen is supposed to be very powerful and supposedly went insane.
mean, that's a strong possibility, but I think, you know, they died in this realm.
The whispers begin to intensify, all of them reaching out towards you, trying to speak to you, when suddenly the wind stops. And Sam, one is standing right in front of you. It seems like you just turned and suddenly she was standing there, her throat torn out, possibly a wizard, maybe a cleric in her former life, and she says, "He's here." And then she vanishes. Silence falls over the mountainside for a moment, and you all see wind begin to rush up silently, soundlessly. You don't feel any more breeze. The air has gone deathly still, but you see this whirlwind begin to form about 10 feet in front of where you stand, Veronis. The whirlwind solidifies and begins to kind of wrap the wind, with the wind wrapping around to form an arm, legs, a torso, the face of a man. Black, slicked hair, pointed, sharp features. Strahd von Zarovich stands before you all as an illusion of air.
Oh boy.
I
Oh, dear.
Don't hesitate to shoot him in the chest.
Your arrow slows as it passes through him. Roll damage. Oh, roll an attack first and then roll damage.
I'll use Central Inspiration if it matters.
Okay. So you strike this swirling thing of air. It passes through, slows as it goes. Roll damage. Strahd looks down at the ceiling burst of air. He looks up and just shakes his head and makes a tss, tss, tss sound. It almost sounds like the wind is forming his words. He says, "You seek the wizard, the madman. He will do you no good. Turn back now. Perhaps I will spare you. At least for one more day. Leave the wizard to his madness."
Is that a hint of fear I hear on your voice?
I'll take a hint
Fear.
from Veronis. I was gonna say, I'll take a hint from Veronis and I'll just say, yeah. I think it's time you turn back. And then I want to cast Command.
Oh my god. I can't.
At level 2, because I don't have any more slots.
Okay.
He's probably gonna have a legendary resistance, but this is probably what Sam would do, to be honest.
So you
Right,
use command to tell him to turn back. What's the DC?
DC's 13.
13? Okay.
13, what is it?
Wisdom.
Wisdom, right? Yeah.
Okay. So Sam, the face turns towards you, almost drifting as if through a cloud. Doesn't really turn, almost like stop motion. And he looks towards you and he says, "Fear. You all don't know what fear is. But I will show you." He succeeds on the save.
Oh my god.
And we are going to roll initiative.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I have enough spell slots.
I think Sam just hit the top of Strahd's shit list. You interrupted his monologue.
Yep.
Oh my god.
No one takes the spotlight from the elephant man, Sam.
Oh my
Oh no, that initiative.
That's a ghost.
I don't like this.
All of our still be riding Carlotta.
Yeah, I mean, unless stated otherwise.
Wait, Paula, are you
yeah,
currently
yeah.
in DDD or are you still?
Well, I can hear still what's going on around my body, so I would definitely stop looking through its eyes. But yeah, I'd still be riding Carlotta.
Can we say that I could have cast Mending on Carlotta during the short rest, or is
Yeah,
that ship
definitely.
sailed?
Anything that you would have done during the short rest. So, Strahd makes a beeline for Sam. Rushes up alongside him, drifting through the air, his feet not touching the ground, seeming to almost end in wispy points as he flies away, his legs do. And Sam, it flies over you.
What?
Sam, I need you to make a strength save. As it
what?
wraps itself around you, and you can feel snow and bits of chunks of ice slamming into you in various spots as Strahd engulfs you. You can see his face kind of drifting ahead of you in the whirlwind and asks, "Who's afraid now?"
Oh.
I accept.
All right. So, Sam, you do take 15 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are flung. Roll a d4 for me, please.
Sure. Oh no.
Okay. You are flung to the south, Sam, bodily lifted up and hurled. As Strahd asks you that, you feel powerful arms grasp you by the shoulders. You all see Sam's form lifted several feet off the ground as if somebody grabbed him by the shoulders and just lifted him straight up and then flings him 20 feet south.
Oh damn.
Sam, luckily that was not... If it was east or west, you would have gone flying into a rock face. Luckily south, there's nothing there for you to land on, or nothing there for you to strike, no walls or anything, but you do, however, still take 1d6 bludgeoning from the fall. So another 2 points you take, Sam. Aurelia, you're up.
Am I prone here?
Yes, you are prone.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Shatter on
Awesome.
this form of Strahd, trying to avoid
Yep, I'll get a template down for you. You can tell me exactly where you want it to go. So what are you thinking, like right there?
Yeah, just about.
Awesome.
It's only 7 points, but we'll take it.
Yeah. So con save. And that's thunder damage? Okay. It does get an 18 on the save, Aurelia, having that down to 3, and its resistance to thunder halves it down to 1.
Oh, seeing that, I'm just gonna back up a little bit and end my turn.
Okay. Uranus.
Slightly in a spot that I don't want to be, so I'll just grab my Talisman of Shocking Grasp and jab him.
Okay. 15's a hit. I think. One second, my bubbles stopped popping up here. 15 is a hit. So everyone, give me just 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get this token fixed.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like Strahd at all.
There we go. Okay. 15 hits for 8 lightning.
Back up in front of Aurelia.
Veronis, you would have had to get within touch range of him to do that, right?
Yeah, I wasn't I?
Yes, you were. I'm just checking for opportunity attack.
Well, if he got hit, he loses his reaction.
Oh, okay, so yeah. He is resistant to lightning, though. So 4 lightning.
That's fair. Carlotta's gonna jump in and do the thing. That's me.
18 hits for 8 force. Okay. Bolivar.
All right. I'm gonna look at what he did to Sam and look at him and say, "What did you do to our friend?" Was it Eva, right? Eva? Not Petra.
Oh, yeah. Esmeralda.
Esmeralda.
Ez.
What did you do to our friend? And I'm going to just touch him and inflict wounds.
Okay.
And he'll probably be resistant or immune, but
That hits.
18 to hit.
He does
Okay.
take 21
21.
points of necrotic
Oh.
damage.
As I'm scratching at him to try and pull his veins and turn them into puppet strings. That's my turn.
All right.
He did it too far away.
Your hands pass through him as you scratch his body, no more corporeal than the wind, but the necrotic energy washes over this airy form and does do quite a bit of damage.
All right, and I'll stay right there.
Sam.
Well,
Well.
stand up, and I'll just say, the only person that can yeet Elephant Man Sam is another Elephant Man Sam, and I'll just.
All right, yeah. 20 hits. Y'all are doing great. Okay, fantastic.
So that's gonna be at level 2. I didn't upcast it for some reason. I'll cast here.
Yeet. I gotta roll initiative for him again and give him his 20 back real quick. Okay, that works.
13 radiant.
13 radiant. Fantastic. Next attack against him has advantage.
Stand up, and I'm gonna be ready.
So, Bolivar, as you stand to lose the most from this, I will let you roll the recharge dice. Roll a d6.
All right. 4.
Bolivar, the whirlwind of Strahd moves into your space.
Okay.
I need you and the Steel Defender to both make strength saving throws, please.
Okay.
Oddly not proficient in strength saving throws.
Bolivar, you do succeed, managing to keep your feet, but Carlotta is lifted up into the whirlwind and does take...
I strike my hook onto the ground and keep myself from being moved.
Awesome. Okay. So, Bolivar, you do take half the damage at 6. Okay, wonderful. So, Veronis, roll a d4 for what direction Carlotta is thrown in. Carlotta is thrown to the north, also clear of any boulders or rocks, or luckily any of you. She does take another d6 from the fall, though. So another 4. Okay. Aurelia.
I am gonna cast Vicious Mockery on a cloud, I guess, and I'm just gonna say you are. I have no insults. I don't know how to insult a cloud. I'll be honest.
He does fail.
It's 1, and he has disadvantage on his next attack.
He turns towards you, his face kind of slowly turning towards you, like you dare insult me type of look.
The insult was not being able to come up with an insult.
Right. Alright. Anything else from Aurelia?
That's gonna be it for me.
Veronis.
And then I'm gonna just shoot him. Yeah,
As one does.
as one does. I'm gonna sharpshoot him.
You have advantage from Aurelia. I'm sorry, not from Aurelia.
From Sam's, yeah.
Sam.
Another crit for Veronis and Sharpshooter. Look
Whoa,
at that.
yes!
So that
Holy
is
crap.
27 points. of Piercing.
Hell yeah.
Magical piercing.
Take that,
That.
Strahd.
Yeah.
Feel the fury today.
Fantastic. Okay. 29 points. 27 points. Math.
Yeah, I was gonna say math.
A lot of feeling my rage is instead of healing, gonna jump to her feet and start wailing on him again.
All right. 10 unfortunately does not hit.
Oh, yeah. It didn't appear, so I clicked it twice, but
Why
that's
is
fine.
this? Okay. Anything else? Yeah, yeet. I just looked over at Discord. All right. Bolivar.
One of the best gifts, man.
Alright,
I believe there is something if you start in its space. No, you're good.
Alright. I will, since I'm pissed, I'm actually gonna second level inflict wounds.
Nice.
So the damage I'll have to add an extra d10 because no, here we go. Never mind. 2. Go.
14.
I'll use my sessional inspiration.
21 hits.
Okay. So 24 points of necrotic damage.
Fantastic. Okay. 24.
Yep.
Okay.
Bring us back to us, Strahd.
So as the necrotic energy washes over this cloud of swirling ice and snow, you can see that it's beginning to lose its form. It's beginning to unravel. But as it gets up to the face of Strahd, it becomes very clear, and a toothy, sharp-toothed smile as he says, "Oh, you will see her again," as the apparition vanishes.
You bastard.
Indeed.
I mean,
Sam's gonna run up and just swing at the empty pile.
Varanus, I'm starting to see why you hate these foul things so much.
They are abominations.
So, now, as you're recuperating from that, kind of regaining your bearings after yet another encounter with Strahd von Zarovich, you see an elk standing on a rocky spur about 60 feet away from you. Suddenly, that elk assumes the form of a man in tattered black robes. His hair and beard are long, black, and streaked with gray, and his eyes crackle with an eldritch power. You can see them glowing with a light blue as you first catch his eye and then fade away into the darkness again. As he takes on his human form, he starts to slow clap. That was quite a show. Who are
I'm not
you?
here for your...
Why
we're
are
not here
you
for
on
your
my
entertainment.
mountain?
Oh,
hey, you're the wizard. You may as well talk, Bolivar.
you must be Mordenkainen.
He gives a sweeping bow. I see you've heard of me.
We
It's
have...
not too surprising. Most people have heard of me.
Didn't know this is where you had ended up. But I've heard of you in a land that's further from here. A land where we're trying to get back to. Mordenkainen, you fought Strahd, and you were prophesied to help us on our fight against Strahd.
He kind of walks towards you all, his black robe trailing behind him through the snow. Says, what was the word you used for Bolivar? Foretold? Prophesized?
Prophesied, yeah.
So he would approach and say, prophecy, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Come with me. He turns and starts walking away up the mountain, doesn't look back to see if anyone's following him.
Okay.
I mean, if there's shelter, let's go follow him.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He walks a few steps away and then turns a corner behind a rock. Bolivar, you suddenly stop hearing his footfalls, his feet cracking on the snow. And when you turn the corner, there's literally nothing there. After a few seconds, you see his head appear out of nowhere, just his head off at the neck. So, well, are you coming? Pulls his head back into nothingness.
Parlor tricks.
I'll walk into the space.
And you find yourself no longer on a snowy, frozen mountainside, but in a wonderfully allotted tower. It's warm, smells wonderful, not a touch of moisture or ice or anything anywhere. It's a little bit smaller than you'd expect. It's no Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion or anything, but it's cozy. Mordenkainen is sitting on a chair, the round table in front of him. Sits down and picks up a piece of bread and some cheese and just starts eating. Says, "So, a prophecy."
Yes, but first, I would like to learn this spell from you. It's pretty, cool, I'm not gonna lie. And, secondly, about this prophecy, we were given a Taroka deck reading, and we were told that a mad wizard would help us, take down Strahd, so we wanted to see if it was, you.
Mad. Mad.
I'm gonna put my hand up and say, well, not in so many words. More like broken.
Like Aurelia holds up the card and says, "No, it says Mad Wizard right here."
Look, I don't know what to tell you. That's what
So,
But your spells
You're
are
like one of
strong.
the less
Mm.
mad people we've encountered so far.
he would nod and say, "Well, I am incomplete at the moment. If you came seeking me here, I'm sure you know by now that I have already failed against Strahd. Not the simple apparition he sent against you just now, but the real thing. I thought that I could take him down myself with the help of some of the townsfolk, but I was very wrong. Even in his wallowing, weakened state I found him in, he was still far more powerful than I could handle."
I mean, we're all, I guess, in some extent, pretty powerful as is, so why not try to take him down with the four of us?
We need your help. You may not have been strong enough by yourself, but there's something with your magic that can help us.
Well, then I'm afraid I can't help you. I mentioned that I am incomplete. After the battle with Strahd those years ago, my staff has been lost, as has my spell book.
Ooh.
Perhaps we can help find it.
Yeah, do you know where they are?
If
He
you knew where they were, they wouldn't be lost.
So he looks impressed by how quickly you all sprung to that. And he would say that he knew that he only needed to wait for the right people to come along, and better to die helping and die trying than to sit here and wallow and rot. And he would say that he knows where his spellbook is. Strahd made it a point to know, to make sure that he knew. It is in a home in the village of Barovia. Irina Kolyana's old home.
Well, that sounds like an easy task.
He kind of tilts his head and he says, "You haven't been to Barovia yet, have you?"
No, but I have a question for you. Did at any point, did Irina have a brother? By chance? Because I believe there was somebody claiming that he was Irina's brother?
He would nod and say, Ismark. He would tell you that the events of Irina's last incarnation, Tatiana's last incarnation, he would call her, broke Ismark's mind. That seeing his sister turn so thoroughly to evil and then having to aid in slaying her, he's not doing great.
I would know because I remember seeing him in Kresk. And I guess he was the local drunkard there.
He would say something along the lines of, watch someone that you care about turn into the thing that you all hated and then kill her, and we'll see how you're doing.
You're not wrong, I mean.
So, you know where your staff and your spellbook are.
He says he knows where his spellbook is, that it is in Barovia, and he would elaborate and say that Barovia is Strahd's. He sees everything that happens there. He knows everything that happens there. It's in the shadow of his castle. Literally. Like his shadow, like the place is bathed in the shadow of Ravenloft at all times. So he knows that Strahd put his book there as a trap. Come get it. You know where it is. Come get it and I can finish the job. Type of trap. The staff, however, went over the Serre Falls, and he hasn't seen it since. He assumes it destroyed or broken, but he doesn't know for sure.
Why would Strahd need a trap to lure you in? Surely all of Barovia is his. Why hasn't he come here to finish you if that was his goal?
He says that Strahd likes nothing if not a game.
I mean, where are the Serre Falls? Because I am more than willing to, go get your quarterstaff and, retrieve it for you.
Well, he says that he can search for his staff. That's not the issue. He cannot step foot into Barovia without drawing Strahd's attention to him directly.
I mean,
It was kind of an unspoken agreement that the day that Mordenkainen decides to go and retrieve his book is the day that Strahd will finish him. So if you do wish to help Mordenkainen, he proposes the opposite. That he will go and search the falls for his staff if you could go into Barovia and find his book. Says that it is in Irina Kolyana's bedroom.
I think the big problem is we also have a target on our backs from Strahd, so it would take some time, but
He says that time is all he's got now.
I mean, we'd have to make a few errands back to Kresk anyway, and then also go to the Ember Temple. So, I think once we are ready to go into Barovia, I think I will have to learn a spell to be able to message you across this plane, but
He says that won't be necessary. That he knows he has friends at the Serre Falls. There's an encampment there. He looks towards you, Aurelia, and says a Vistana encampment at Serre Falls. Says they are less friendly towards Strahd than they would have him believe. Says that when you're ready to enter Barovia, you can find him there.
I mean, those are my people, so
He says to not be mistaken, though. Most of the Vistani here in Barovia are fiercely loyal to Strahd. And he says, especially the group camped just outside of this town.
Any individuals we should keep an eye out for in particular?
Yes, I have names. I just have to find them. Give me 1 second, I'll grab them for you.
great. Although,
Well, the wizard is looking around for stuff. Does it look like this room is just is it pimped out or is it?
It's small. It's basically a layman's tiny hut, but since he's Mordenkainen, he's managed to make it a little better.
Gotcha.
Permanent.
Mordenkainen's modest hut. Take that, Leomund.
Take that, Leomund. Right, Mordenkainen just does it better. Okay, so he says Aragal and Luvash are the ones to look out for at that camp. They are fiercely loyal to Strahd and would sooner kick their own grandmother down a flight of stairs than upset their master. Aragal and Luvash.
If you achieve the height of your power, would you be able to help us into the Ember Temple?
I mean, but we already have a plan to get that wedding dress to the abbot, though. Why do we need? No
Well,
offense, by the way, Mordenkainen.
So
a wizard
no,
of
and
Arthas.
he would say that he could help, but the powers that inhabit the temple, they want Mordenkainen. He says that it would not be wise for him to allow himself to be tempted in such a way.
Do you mean that there's powers inside of that temple that would haunt you or something like that?
He says the powers reside within that temple. He would look again towards you, Aurelia, and say the dark powers.
Can you? Sorry,
Aurelia,
Go ahead,
do you know what that means?
I think I would have to make an Arcana check, maybe?
Would not be necessary. As of Istana, you would know that when he refers to the dark powers, he refers to the beings that grant the Dark Lord's dominion over these places. So the dark powers, capital T, capital D, capital P. As in the beings who decide who gets to have dark domains in Ravenloft.
Okay.
sorry,
No, go ahead, Furnace.
that you could elaborate on that a little bit. We were a little confused, and you seem to have discovered for yourself that Strahd, even for means that would normally kill vampires, seems to be immune to being killed.
He nods, and he would say that he has heard stories of successful ventures into this land, where adventurers were drawn in by Strahd and managed to kill him in the more conventional ways, different from how the last time played out. The last time was unique, very unique, but other times adventurers have entered Ravenloft, entered Barovia, faced off with Strahd, played his games and emerged victorious, done everything that they should have done to slay a vampire permanently, yet he came back. Mordenkainen's not sure, but in the time that he's spent here, he's had nothing but time to... Oh, sorry, Vase. Have a good one, my dude. Feel better. So in the time that he's had, he has got a chance to study the dark domains a bit, and he believes that once the dark powers have chosen somebody, they are in effect immortal. They cannot be killed. If they are killed, the dark powers simply remanifest them back into the domain. The only way to permanently kill a Dark Lord is to make him no longer a Dark Lord, which was almost achieved during during Tatiana's last incarnation. Strahd almost was destroyed, and in fact for a brief moment he was. As Irina strode the halls, Strahd's head tied to her belt. She was the Dark Lord, and thus Strahd was truly dead. But the moment Irina, Tatiana, went back on her deal and allowed herself to be slain by the adventurers, her former friends, the pact was broken, and Strahd was once more the Dark Lord of this place. And so, is in effect essentially immortal once more.
So, in theory, because the prophecy says she has to kill Strahd and then kill us. The fact that she had his head on her belt, she was the Dark Lord at some point until she was killed. Which, I mean, it's interesting to think about, but
She'd been chosen by these powers, obviously.
exactly. But the big problem is, I mean, are we going to be able to just escape and she'll just let us go?
Well,
Or
Titania is no longer the Dark Lord of this place. It is Strahd again. She broke her pact with these dark powers and allowed herself to be slain by the adventurers.
So it reset back to Strahd after that?
Yeah.
So then what do these powers want? Just entertainment?
It's-
Soldiers?
so, from my understanding, they just need somebody to control the domain. I mean, to the two domains I've been at, there's always been one person to hold
What
these
would happen?
powers.
What would happen if no one controls the domain?
Disappear.
Mordenkainen does not know.
And is that bad?
As long as Strahd is the Dark Lord, then we can't escape. Can't return to our previous lives.
And Mordenkainen would confirm that through his research and what he'd found before, although Strahd has locked the borders of his domain now, if you were to defeat him, while kill is not the right word, if you were to defeat him, it would take time for the dark powers to reestablish him. So you do, if you were to destroy him, you do have a window of a day or two to escape Barovia.
So,
Seems unsatisfying somehow.
I mean,
Says, well, if escape's your only goal, then that's as easy as it is. He kind of chuckles to himself when he says it's easy. Simply kill the vampire. Or at least destroy him, for now.
I mean, honestly, after encountering everything that's been going on in this domain, I kind of don't want to live in this whole mess of the domains anymore. I kind of want to get out. So, at this point, I'll do anything to not stay in these parts anymore.
This is wonderful. To Castle Ravenloft, then.
Right now?
No.
I was gonna say, like, we have something to do with the abbot of, back in Kresk, so I
Says
kind of...
that you all can take all the time that you need, and that he will be waiting for you at the Sarepool encampment with the Vistana when you're ready.
Among your remaining abilities, doesn't happen to be a one to travel great distances quickly.
He shakes his head and says without his spellbook, his options are very limited, and teleport is not one of the things he has ready to go.
We at least stay the night, recuperate, all this stuff.
He nods and says, by all means, stay here, stay warm, and it is about probably 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at this point. So if you were to take a long rest now, you would be departing at night.
That's true.
Yeah.
And if you all remember Valakai's rules about entering the city at night.
Yeah. I mean...
I guess we'll just...
He does say that he can provide you with warm weather clothing for the trip back down, and can even escort you as far as the tree line.
I mean... That's great to me, but, yeah. Is there any way you can teach me this spell, by the way? I mean, this is a pretty cool setup, I'm not gonna lie.
So it's Liamon's tiny hut. He says he can teach you that.
It's level 3.
Yeah.
I mean...
Do you have level 3 spells yet?
No. It's level 5.
Cool. Why don't you all go ahead and level up?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to level up, and we're going to go ahead and call it a session here. We're going to call it a little early so Vase doesn't miss out on the cool shit that happens when you all get back to Valakai. So yeah, so we'll call it a session here. You all can level up to 5.